Fran Hayes was the first paid organiser for the Australian Social Welfare Workers Union, one of the predecessor unions of the ASU, and indeed the absolute bedrock of strength that is the community sector division of the ASU. We're here to talk to Fran today about her journey and the role that she played in forming the ASWU and indeed winning the very first case for our workers in the community sector to have a federal award. We have an award and it's incredibly precious to us. It's what ensures that when we improve the working conditions, we improve them for every single worker. But we wouldn't have an award if it weren't for your incredibly groundbreaking work with the ASWU. Can you tell me a little bit about how conditions were set and what they were like before we had an award?
Your rate of pay, frequency of pay, normal hours of work, overtime work, sick leave, all of those things. Nobody without an award had any standards or protections for any of that.
Now, the ASWU, of course, represented workers in more than just the CYSS program, right across the entire social and welfare field, in particular in community-based organisations. So why was the CYSS sector chosen strategically to be targeted for that first award?
CYSS refers to the Community Youth Support Scheme, and it was a scheme, federal government scheme, introduced in the mid-70s to provide some form of support to the large number of unemployed young people around at that time. We were at risk of being excluded from ever getting an award because we didn't fit the current High Court interpretation of the Constitution on industrial disputes.
So services that were delivered in the community interest and not in the interest of making money or profit were essentially locked out of our industrial system.
They were. We were advised by our legal advisors at that time to give ourselves the best chance we should start with CYSS because it was a manpower organisation and it would be easier to argue if the argument came up that it was industrial than if we went for the whole industry. So that was one reason. The other very important reason was our members in CYSS were organised. They were organised, they were interested, they were active, and they indeed carried a lot of the work of the campaign. Everyone in the community sector lived in fear of being defunded if they drew attention to themselves as being a troublemaker.
The hearings are going on, and how did members, rank and file members, remain engaged and really driving this work?
This is the first time our union had got an award. We weren't industrial relations experts. We didn't know this stuff, so we were learning it and making sure that the rank and file members and activists were learning it too. We were all learning together. Many of them were engaged in cajoling their management committees into the position of supporting the union, and we had quite a respectable number. I can't remember now, but I think it was 27 committees we had represented, and that every one of those was a result of really hard work and organising. It was such a simple thing when they took the appearances and our committee guy stood up and said, "My name is Larry Boyd and I am here to represent the following CYSS committees and to say that we do not object to a dispute." That was it was probably 2 minutes of time that had taken weeks and weeks and weeks. Things had changed in my employment with the union, to say the least. And I got a call from someone in our New South Wales branch. She said, "The High Court decision's in," and I said, "Yes." She said, "We won," and I said, "By how many?" She said, "Unanimous." Unanimous.
So 7 of 7. Remarkable.
And they said, basically, "We have got this really wrong for so long." The person in the streets, meaning that they would attribute to the term industrial dispute, would be a dispute between an employer and an employee about work matters. So we'd been through so much and we'd been told that it was unwinnable and we were foolish and we were throwing good money after bad, etc., etc. It was great.
What a groundbreaking victory, absolutely groundbreaking. So you start off this group of largely young women entering the workforce, activists who are establishing services and organising, committees of management of the services, fighting to have a union, then fighting to be able to have an award, and changing the entire industrial landscape of the country along the way. It's just truly remarkable.
Hard work and persistence. Never underestimate hard work and persistence, because if you gave up easily, you wouldn't have got very far in this campaign.